and we will, start recording. Also, I got up before we went live to go fill up my drink, and I haven't taken a drink yet. I have what was this? Diet green tea, because they didn't have non-diet when I went to buy green tea. And it looks super clear to be tea, so I'm a little concerned. Let me try it here live on the show. Here we go.
It's like an unboxing, but with a drink.
I mean, it's not bad, but it doesn't taste like green tea.
You said it's kind of clear?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I can hold it up and see the cards on my other monitor through it. I have a hard time reading them. Oh, because they're reversed. Well, that's why I can't read them. The way light travels through liquid is just a trip, and especially in a curved glass. But like, I can make out the art relatively clearly looking at these I'm looking at them through the glass. I don't know how much time has passed. Oh God, it feels like
feels like forever.
Ha! There it was.
But some things never change. I don't know if you knew that. Because forever feels like home.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Dirk.
Hey.
All right, that is now almost 2 minutes of extra recording. So let's get going. Here we go. Ow, jam! Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mana Pool. This is episode, as far as I know, 642 of the Mana Pool. Let me double check that. Yeah, the last one was 641. Excellent. I couldn't remember if I already changed it or if I changed it twice earlier. Yes, I am Chewy. We are missing one dork because, as usual, his job is trying to kill him, and this week it's succeeding. But I have two other dorks here, so hello, dorks.
Hey, I'm Brian. I'm the lead Rambler Tangent Master of the group, and I am not dead, so I am here. That is how that works.
And I'm Dirk, the self-proclaimed greenest man alive and moral compass of the group. And I'm not dead, dead, dead. I'm not dead, dead, dead.
I don't get that one.
It's from a game.
There's
like the if you die, then it does like one of those little singy songs in the end credits and everything. I don't know what game it's from, but
right.
Wait, are you talking about GLaDOS singing "Still Alive"?
No, this is a different one. This is an older one.
Oh,
it was something I saw on Outside Xbox.
Oh God, there's no telling then.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm like, I don't know what game it's from, but I remember the tune. And it was catchy. Except it was, "You are dead, dead, dead."
Wait, was that in their recent Times Music was way better than it should have been video?
Probably.
Huh.
Nah, I think it's an older one.
Oh, okay.
But something along the same vein.
Oh, one person in the chat thinks it might be a Monkey Island. That makes perfect sense if it is. Anyway, yeah, as you can tell, we have no Mike because Mike is not. But we do have a full Brian this week. Brian sounds better because Brian found a microphone.
Thank you.
Huzzah.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on last week, but it was bad.
It was bad, so I hear. So glad to help out.
Yay, and it kept me from having to go buy one and take it to him. Although I was gonna, because I already did that for Mike.
I know you were willing to. But
also, I still need to come see you guys because I've got your presents from ALK Altars. Damn it. We'll get that worked out sometime. But anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about Kamigawa, damn it.
We are.
Because, okay, they have shown a lot more cards since our last episode, obviously, because that's what they do. I haven't been paying super close attention. They pop up in the Discord and I read some of them and go, huh. But there have been a few where I'm just like, are you serious? What? Like, for instance, gentlemen, if you'll scroll down to green,
Okay.
and they've finished a cycle. I use that term loosely. That has been going since the original Kamigawa.
The Kodamas.
Yeah,
I was thinking legendary creatures.
I mean
That's not.
it is a legendary.
I mean,
What?
yeah, but that's. I mean, that's more of a theme, and they haven't finished it. They're just gonna keep going. But no, in the first Kamigawa, we had north, south, and I guess east. I
No,
just
one of
remember
those was
north and
later.
south. Okay.
In some
they had
other. What was that? What was the other Kodama in, you guys? Was it a Modern Masters or something?
probably
Gather.
Gather Kodama.
Kodama search. It was in. What is this? Yeah, the East Tree was in Commander Legends. Oh, okay. I knew it was in something. Oh, we also had the Center Tree, which I'd completely forgotten about from Betrayers. I literally completely forgot about the Kodama of the Center Tree. Also, why is that not on this screen? There, now you can see it.
I was gonna.
Oh, wait, you
subtly
can't
type
see
that
it.
into
There
the
we
chat.
go. So yeah, we had the Kodama of North and South Tree in Champions, Kodama of the Center Tree in Betrayers, which completely fell out of my head entirely. And then Kodama of the East Tree was in Commander Legends.
Okay. So now we have the West tree.
Yes, now I have the Kodama of the West Tree. And since we have the greenest man alive here, I get the feeling he should read that. Also, holy crap, Gothic through 1500 bits that I didn't hear. That's weird. Thanks, buddy. Why didn't I hear that? Did that make a noise? Anyway.
Nope.
Well, I know
Alright,
you
Kodama
guys
of the-
didn't hear it.
Kodama of the West Tree. For 2 in a green, it's a 3/3 legendary creature spirit that is mythic. It has reach. Modified creatures you control have trample. So yeah. And also says, whenever a modified creature you control deals combat damage to a player, search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle.
Good lord.
That's a lot
Feels
of awesome
pretty
stuff
good.
that says.
That's
This thing only costs 3.
Yep.
It's not entirely unfeasible to go on an aggressive deck to go turn 1 drop, turn 2 put something on it, either something you can equip or just enchant it and start swinging, and then turn 3 play this, swing with
Swing
the
again.
aforementioned 1 drop, and start getting the lands out of your deck. Which for an aggressive deck, you might go, oh, but you don't want to be drawing your lands. Exactly.
Exactly.
You're not drawing them. So, yeah, I feel like this could be pretty good. And it's a 3/3 for 3, that's pretty great. I remember when original Kamigawa came out, they made a spirit for 1 generic and 2 green, and it was a 3/3 for 3 with no drawback, and that was a thing. Like, that's why they printed it. It wasn't rare, but it was notable. And they're like, holy crap. And now we're just like, yeah, now it needs to have an upside, because duh.
Yeah, because power creep is a real thing, unfortunately.
Yep. But the times they are a-changing. So, I mean, yeah, this is pretty straightforward. I think it's pretty good for competitive, but I think it's also great for casual, because who doesn't love searching for lands, and who doesn't love Voltron decks to just, again, I love the fact that modified is not tied down to one particular concept. The fact that it can apply to equipment,
especially not
cards you
one
can-
block specific thing. That would be kind of lame.
Exactly. This is like, I know we mentioned this last week, but this is kind of like almost the exact opposite of Splice on Arcane, where they're like, yeah, you can only use this here. So,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I like that. Did we cover all the planeswalkers last week? I feel like we did. We definitely covered Tezzeret and the Emperor, and the Ninja Guy
And
and
Tamio,
Tamio.
I guess so.
Yeah,
Hey, you want to do
yeah,
Splinter now since you were all hot to do it last week?
yeah. Let's do it. Because I mean, come on. What about this is not awesome? So this is the Silver Fur Master. This is Splinter because it's a rat ninja that mentors your other ninjas. For a blue and a black, it's a 2/2 rat ninja with ninjutsu of a blue and a black. It's uncommon. Ninjutsu abilities you activate cost 1 generic mana less to activate, and other ninja and rogue creatures you control get +1/+1. It's a ninja lord, and it's awesome, and I love the art. So yeah, it's not like mind blowing, like whoa, but I like it, and it's totally Splinter.
Yeah, it is. Excuse me.
Keep a
I like it
note.
because
We
he's an old,
we
like
don't
you
have,
said, he's an old ninja rat.
yeah. Keep in mind, since we don't have Mike here to set us to make sure we're interpreting the rules correctly. Uh, Keep in mind that cost reduction only applies when he's on the battlefield. So,
Well, yeah.
granted, yeah,
Although you could ninjutsu him out first, and then that discount will apply to any more you activate this combat.
correct. And because his own ninjutsu doesn't have any generic mana in the cost, they actually kind of made it in such a way that it's easier to not get it wrong. Because I could see if they made the ninjutsu for him be a generic and a blue and a black, I could see people being like, "Oh, this costs 1 less." So,
Yeah.
no. Yeah. Good job, guys. Way to make it not dumb.
I love it when
Yeah,
things are not dumb.
I'm a fan. Yeah. So I'm not. It didn't need to spend a lot of time on it. It's just it's cute. I don't know. Something about the art just really speaks to me. All Ninja Turtles jokes aside, it's just a. I think it's a pretty well done piece.
Yeah.
In the lore for the set, you have the different factions like the Imperials who want to kind of control and monitor technology. You have the Red Align group that are more like, hey, technology can improve the lives of everyone, including the common citizens. It shouldn't be regulated. You have the blue futurists who want to really kind of push the technology, to see where it can go. But then you have the Nezumi and the black aligned creatures that are basically there's a black card in here somewhere that I saw just scrolling through where the flavor text is basically it don't pick technology or spirits. They're both tools to an end. Take whatever you need, kind of thing. So they're going to embrace whatever they need to embrace. And here, it's technology and spirits. Yeah.
Yeah. So while we're on the Ninja Turtle kick, go back up to
Yep.
green and check out
Okay.
the Kappa Tech Wrecker. For 1 and a green, it's an uncommon turtle ninja. He's a 1/3. Ninjutsu cost is 1 and a green. And it says Kappa Tech Wrecker enters the battlefield with a death touch counter on it. Mwahaha! You remember ability counters? Hell yeah.
Yep.
Those counters modified. Huh?
They do.
And whenever Kappa Tech Wrecker deals combat damage to a player, you may remove a death touch counter from it. When you do, exile target artifact or enchantment that player controls.
Neat. So you can basically keep whichever one you want. Do you want to have the death touch counter? Because it's going to make it easier for this guy to continue to swing in unabated, because the first time you play it out for that ninjutsu, it's already by definition not blocked. But then if you want to keep swinging away with your turtle, they're maybe not going to block it because it's got death touch. Or do you really just need to get rid of that silly enchantment or artifact? Which there's a lot of enchantments and artifacts in this set, thanks to the themes of the set as well as modified being a thing. So, plus the sagas are all enchantments and enchantment creatures.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I just love that we've got Splinter and we've got a Ninja Turtle. Yeah.
I like it. Did we talk? We started to talk about the dragons last week, but we only had the white one and the red one. Yeah. Did we have the blue one?
I don't even remember the white one.
The white one? No, it was the dragon spirit was the white one.
Yes.
What?
The actual dragon, like the dragon, it was not.
Okay, that's why it doesn't sound familiar at all. I just looked at it and was like, I don't remember this card.
The soul of Kamigawa, Kodai. That was the one
the other
Oh,
that's the one we did last week.
That's the one we
Ao,
did
the
last
Dawn
week. Okay.
Sky, is also all the dragons are also spirits, so I was confused. But
yeah, Ao we did not do.
Okay,
so we didn't do Ao.
We'll do it then. Somebody, hurry!
All right. So Ao, the Dawn Sky, for 3 and 2 white, is a legendary dragon spirit. It seems that all of the dragon spirits here, the legendary ones, except for the Kodai, which is its own thing, have, when this dies, choose one of 2 things.
Yep.
So here, this is a 5/4 with flying and vigilance for 5 mana. That's pretty good. And when this dies, you choose one. The 2 options are either look at the top 7 cards of your library, put any number of non-land permanent cards with total mana value 4 or less from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order.
Huh.
Or
okay.
put 2+1/+1 counters on each permanent you control that's a creature or vehicle.
Ah! That's a really... Huh.
Yeah.
That's a really interesting decision. I mean...
Yeah.
It's going to be pretty obvious which one you do when it dies, probably.
Yeah.
Based on what your board looks like, but still.
Yeah. Do you need more permanents, or do you like the other permanents you've got, and you need to get them pumped up? I like this because it's difficult for your opponent. Like, if they wipe the board, then they need to be afraid of you just kind of like restocking a little bit. The total mana value 4 thing does keep it from getting a little crazy, but still. Yeah.
I mean, if getting a free 4-drop to replace your 5-drop is fine, or 2 2-drops, or even 2 1-drops is like, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
and none of these are like the exile when you do this sort of thing, so nothing says you can't try to get it back later. Okay. So then I guess we didn't talk about the blue one.
Okay, wait. Chifuji's telling us it's Ao.
Ow.
The Dawn Sky.
Ow.
Where we were being too hard with the the vowel. It's ow, not ao.
It's not Ao.
Ayo. Oh my god. Okay,
Ayo.
what's the blue one's name? Kyrie. Oh. The Swirling Sky. Oh, it swirls. Okay, I'll read it. So, wait. No, I should do the black one.
Okay.
I'll do the blue one then.
Yeah, you do the blue one.
For 4 and 2 blue, it's a 6/6 dragon spirit, legendary creature that's mythic with flying and ward 3. Ward
Buh.
of colorless 3. All right, when we're gonna say Kyrie, but the swirling sky dies, choose one. Return any number of target non-land permanents with total mana cost 6 or less to their owner's hand.
Huh. Okay.
Okay. And the other one is mill 6 cards, then return up to 2 instant and or sorcery cards from your graveyard to your hand.
Ooh. That's gross.
Two really good choices.
Yeah, these are
That
both
first-
kind of
that-
sick.
Yeah, that first one can just set people back so far.
Excuse me.
Particularly if they've got a bunch of tokens that are their main source of stuff.
Oh god, it does say non-land permanents, and they have a mana value of nothing, so they don't contribute. Ooh,
Yep.
that's nasty.
Unless that token is an actual copy of something with a mana value, yeah. It just
That's
says
nasty.
Yeah. That's yeah.
All right,
I think
Kyrie
this is the biggest one.
Yeah, Kyrie the Swirling Sky is kind of gross, but it's the
Yeah.
blue one. What do you expect?
It's the blue one, and blue is the primary color for flying, so it makes sense. But yeah,
See how those
6/6.
things are related, but okay, Brian.
Well, just I don't know. It made sense in my head. But a 6/6 for 6 with flying and ward 3. That's
Yeah,
gonna be
the
hard
Ward
enough for
3
them
makes
to
this
kill
thing sturdy.
2. Yeah, that when you kill it has an enormous impact on the board. Just crazy.
What was
Fuck.
Ward again?
Ward is if an opponent wants to target it with a spell or
Oh, that's
ability,
right.
I think.
You got to pay 3.
Then they pay the extra 3.
Right.
And it can be 3 of anything.
Or
but-
it's countered.
Mm-hmm.
or
It's not just
or
that it doesn't
yeah.
happen, it's that whatever you pointed at it just fizzles, to use an ancient
Yeah.
term that doesn't apply.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ward's way too new for me to know that one by heart at this point. But it's yeah.
Let's see.
Which-
Like that one is solidly a mythic.
Oh.
Yeah, I think all of these dragons are solidly mythic.
Oh yeah. 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 Not
All
even
right.
close.
So the black one is Junji, the Midnight Sky.
I like this one.
I do love a Midnight Sky. For 3 black, it's a 5/5 with flying and menace. That makes sense. When it dies, either each opponent discards 2 cards and loses 2 life. All right, that's fine. Or put target non-dragon creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. You lose 2 life. Oh darn, 2 whole life.
I like how that first choice is a little bit of a callback to Kakusho without being stupid
Yeah.
like Kakusho. Because I'm sorry, but Kakusho
Was a
is
mistake.
dumb. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is nice. I like this.
Yeah.
And
It's
flying
pretty
and menace.
It's pretty simple though, so there's not much to say unlike the last one.
Yeah.
No, it's very straightforward, but both of those abilities are great. But I have to wonder how many times they're even going to be able to kill a 5/5 with flying and menace. I think this is just going to get in there over and over again, and you're just going to die.
I mean, that works for me.
Yeah. We covered the red one. The red one's awesome because that's the one that you either get 2 cards and you can play those cards, exile the top cards and play them, like red does, or you get 3 treasure tokens. That is
Yep.
just ridiculous.
That's Atsushi.
Yeah. And then there's the green one.
Kura, the Boundless Sky. For 3 and 2 green, it's a 4/4. Dragon Spirit with flying and death touch.
Nice.
When Kura, the Boundless Sky dies, choose one. Search your library For up to 3 land cards, reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle.
There's a word missing there. It does not
Basic?
say the word basic. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that's gross.
The other ability is create an XX green spirit creature token where X is the number of lands you control.
Oh my god. I like this one too.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
Yeah. These are pretty awesome.
Yeah, all of these dragons are gross. Ooh. Also, I really love the art on like the regular ass art here on Kura. I don't know why. It's just very pretty.
It is.
Dang.
That is an incredibly long dragon.
That is what she said.
Dragons for days. Dragons for days.
If you get all the Dragon Balls, this one shows up and goes, "What?" I mean, nothing. Yeah, again, this one's pretty simple, but damn. Okay, wait a minute. Someone a while back mentioned a card in the chat. Oh, the Spirit Sisters Call down in gold. Okay, let's do that.
Okay.
Spirit Sisters Call for 3, a white, and a black is a mythic enchantment. Okay, I like where this is going already. Here we go. At the beginning of your end step, choose target permanent card in your graveyard. Okay. You may sacrifice a permanent that shares a card type with the chosen card. Okay. If you do, return the chosen card from your graveyard to the battlefield, and it gains, if this permanent would leave the battlefield, exile it instead of putting it anywhere else. Oh.
Which this
That's, what, Unearth, I think?
this seems kind of crazy because now in sacrificing the permanent that shares the card type, you're already getting set up for next turn.
Yeah.
Now, I realize you can't sacrifice the thing you just brought back. I mean, I guess, well, technically you can.
Yeah, you can if you really want to.
If you really want to. But if you're playing this in a deck that leans heavily on one card type, keep in mind, it doesn't say, it's not creature type. It is card type. But if you're running a fairly symmetrical permanent-based deck, this can get kind of crazy.
Oh.
I'm just gonna, sacrifice my Sorrow's Path to get my Strip Mine back. And then Chewie's like, "Why are you playing with Sorrow's Path?" And I'm like, "So I can sacrifice it. And then next turn, I'm gonna get it back." But yeah, this seems...
Damn it, Brian, I took a drink.
Here's a little bit of an example. So another thing, not to get us off on a different tangent, but the shrines are back.
Yes. I don't think we had actually touched on that last week, but they are back actually as creatures as well.
So why I go off on this tangent is the white shrine. Goshen tie of shared purpose. So for 3 and a white, it's a 1/3 legendary enchantment creature shrine. It's uncommon, vigilance. At the beginning of your end step, you may pay 1 colorless mana.
Generic.
If you do, generic, sorry.
Just say 1. We know what it means.
Just put 1. All right. If you do, create a 1/1 colorless spirit creature token for each shrine you control. So if you have just this out, you get the spirit token.
Yep.
You can then Sister's Call. Yeah, Spirit Sister's Call. Sacrifice that and get one of the dragons back. Correct?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could do that with any creature token because it's card type, not creature type, so it doesn't care if it's a spirit.
Card type?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I missed that part. I thought it was creature type.
Yeah. So you can use the Spirit Sister's Call to get back planeswalkers or enchantments or artifacts or whatever. So long as you have another one to sacrifice. But yeah, Goshintai. Okay, Goshintai also brings up another interesting point. It's a legendary enchantment creature shrine. But that doesn't mean shrine is a creature type. This is a thing that's been clarified by various rules people on Twitter. Shrine is an enchantment subtype. So that doesn't mean that all of your shapeshifters are now shrines. Because it's not a creature type. Yes, it's on a creature, but it doesn't matter.
But that's the reason why it's got the weird border around it.
Well, that's because it's an enchantment.
And it's got the crown molding because it's legendary.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's got the sparkly thing because that's what all of the enchantment creatures look like. If I can scroll down and find one. Yeah, like just the Sky Blessed Samurai is also an enchantment creature. Oh my god, there's a doggo! Okay, sorry, back up to the one we're talking about. But, yeah, it's a little weird that there's a creature that has a type, but it's not a creature type. So, yeah, because I think most, if not all of these shrines do something for each shrine you control. And people are like, oh my god, play Conspiracy! Or the blue one, whatever it's called. I can never remember. And then you get all of the shrines all the time. No. Can't do that. Sorry. Yeah, Mycroft said the same way Ginger Brute didn't make food a creature type. Exactly. And the equipment creatures, like right up here above it, the Cloudsteel Kirin is an artifact creature equipment Kirin. But equipment is still not a creature type, just like Kirin is not an artifact type.
Right.
So that was a thing on Twitter for a day before everyone lost their damn minds. When everyone lost their damn minds before Morrow and Jess Dunks and whatnot were like, no. So, yeah.
It was a good try, guys.
It was a good try, but that is not how this works. Sorry.
Gamer's gonna game. Because,
right?
It's a game. So.
Also, hey, look at the card right next to it.
Hotshot mania mechanic.
Yeah, it's a Fox Pilot,
Oh,
and it crews
Do a
vehicles
barrel
real
roll.
good. It's a Star Fox
barrel
reference.
I was about to say.
Yeah, Hotshot Mechanic for a single white is a 2/1 artifact creature Fox Pilot who's uncommon, and it says Hotshot Mechanic crews vehicles as though its power were 2 greater. So you can tap this for Crew 4 by itself because Hotshot Mechanic.
Yeah.
I love it.
Save me, Fox. Poor Slippy.
Maybe at some point they'll add a toad.
Do what?
Toad
I'm
pilot.
I'm thinking this might be a thing for white in this set for pilots because look at Born to Drive. For 2 and a white, it's an aura enchantment. It's uncommon, enchant artifact or creature. As long as enchanted permanent is a creature, it gets +1/+1 for each creature and or vehicle you control. Channel for 2 and a white and discard Born to Drive. Create 2 1/1 colorless pilot creature tokens with this creature crews vehicles as though its power were 2 greater. Which, by the way, means you can now cruise something with Cruise 6.
Oh, yeah, with just those 2 pilots.
Yeah. So I wonder if this is going to be a thing for,
either white or the pilots. I don't know. I haven't paid enough attention
Yeah.
to the full set to know if that's a color thing or just a set thing.
But
also, look at the
yeah,
art
I mean,
on Born to Drive. Do you see what they're getting into here?
it's some kind of like mech, right?
Yeah, there are mechs in this damn world, which is turning off some people. They're like, oh, that's too sci-fi. This isn't magic. I'm like, you guys remember like 20 years ago when there were mechs in Magic because Urza made. Hello, is this thing on? Like, for anyone that doesn't know, what's that? What is it? Power armor?
Power, yeah. I mean, there's multiple cards that show Urza
It's a
in the
mech.
mech suit because he made mech suits for all the planeswalkers in the invasion cycle. Urza's Rage, the
Yep.
original art has him
I
in a
was
mech
I was
suit.
typing that in as you said it. Yeah, the original Urza's right. Look
So-
at that. It's a mech. It's a magic powered mech, but it's still a freaking mech. So like, this is not new. And of course, this set is sci-fi. Have you looked at the anything? This is totally a sci-fi set.
It is, which I get if some people if
Whoops.
that rubs them the wrong way, but that's taste. That's not. That's there's nothing necessarily like, oh, it's not magic anymore. That's just subjective taste. It's not something they have done. Guess what? They try to do new stuff all the time. And
Yeah.
I've never understood the whole um sci-fi and fantasy can't overlap thing. I've never understood that at all.
Well, no.
Like I get that they are treated as different genres just for simplicity's sake, like for cataloging, but I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Show some imagination.
Also, there's an adorable doggo.
Where's the doggo?
A spirited companion in white. It's very simple. 1 and a white for a 1/1 enchantment creature dog. And when it enters the battlefield, draw a card.
It's not bad for one and white.
Right? And the flavor text is, she formed a friendship with several playful spirits, and soon the pack was known as the source of much mischief in Iganjo. Ah! Who's a good doggy? She's a good girl. Okay, anyway, sorry.
No, that's okay. Let's see. Hey, Dirk, what's something that stands out to you?
Yeah. And hey, chat, feel free to throw any cards at us that you want us to... Oh, there's one. Dementor already picked one out. Seven-tailed Mentor. That's right here, right? Yeah, here it is. Oh, it's another common. I can talk. Shut up. Seven-tail Mentor for 3 and a white is a 2/3 common Fox Samurai. When Seven-tail Mentor enters the battlefield or dies, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature or vehicle you control. What? Oh, the flavor text. I've taught you all I can. Take this blade and rise as my equal. Oh. That's really good for a 4-drop common creature, isn't it?
I feel like that's probably okay.
I guess 4,
I
yeah,
don't
okay,
know.
at 4. My
Yeah.
brain had to recenter on this is magic.
It's decent for limited. It's not anything crazy.
Yeah.
I like the Kitsune, just in general. There are a couple cards in here that feel like they're part of a cycle, like the marches. Do all the colors get a march?
I think so. What in the blue hell is going on in the white one? Jesus.
Okay. I was about to mention this one. So,
Which one?
in the art, it reminds me of Studio Ghibli.
Yeah, I think that's pretty clearly what they're shooting for here.
Well, that's the thing. I was like, that looks like a reference to them in terms of the art and everything, just with the things carrying the cart. or
I
whatever
mean,
it is.
clearly, this is a spirit-centered sort of activity. So, okay. Well, what's the white one do?
Well, for X and white, it's a rare instant. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you may exile any number of white cards from your hand. This spell costs 2 less to cast for each card exiled this way.
Oh.
Exile target artifact, creature, or enchantment with mana value X or less.
So this to me
Oh.
feels like a different take on the shoals. Because if you remember, the shoals had you discard, for example, the white one had you could or exile. So you could exile a white card with converted mana cost equal to X, and that set X. And here, uh, it's a little safer because if you remember, like Nourishing Shoal, the green one did stupid things with the life gain where you could like Gristlebrand and then exile like what was it like the world spine worm or something to gain all the life so you could then draw all the cards or whatever. Here it's a little safer because you still have to A, pay for the white, and then B, you have to exile a bunch of white cards to really get a sort of crazy effect. So you're limited. Each card only has a reduction of 2. Doesn't matter how big or small they are, you know? So, but uh this is point removal for white at instant speed. Seems pretty good.
Yeah,
It's
artifact,
pretty
creature, or
versatile.
enchantment is. Yeah, it might as well just say not planeswalker.
Yeah, non-land, non-planeswalker permanent, kind of, sort of,
Hmm.
possibly for a really low cost, and again at instant speed. I don't see one in blue, which just may mean that we don't have it yet, but there is one in black. Thought I saw it. Did I see it? It should start with M here. The
Yeah,
March
March
of
of Wretched
Red.
Sorrow. Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Um.
That's depressing.
Yeah. That. Yeah. I'm reading this straight up for the first time. For X and black, instant, rare. As an additional cost to cast the spell, you may exile any number of black cards from your hand. The spell costs 2 generic less to cast for each card exiled this way. March of Wretched Sorrow deals X damage to target creature or planeswalker, and you gain X life.
Oh, okay.
So it's more point removal specific to creatures, but it's also a drain life. You can't drain your opponent out, so this avoids being the draw a whole bunch of cards and then pitch all your black cards for a massive drain life effect to just win the game. So that's good.
Thank goodness. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They did not give us this set scrape shot, luckily. But yeah, and the art is I'm trying
Depressing.
to get a little closer, and I've just decided that no, I'm good. I'm
Yeah.
good.
No. I don't want to. No. So the red one is March of Reckless Joy. And it's the same deal as exiling red cards. And it also says exile the top X cards of your library. You may play up to 2 of those cards until the end of your next turn. Huh, I can see that being dangerous.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Hmm. And then the green one is the only one I'd seen before because, I think Will Blanks dropped it on his Facebook page, and
and this one has one.
I happened to
This
read
one
it.
has one of the shoalfish. Remember the
It
shoals?
does.
Yeah,
Look
like
at him.
sickening shoal. Yeah, I haven't forgotten. I will never
You will
forget.
never forget.
I will never forget sickening shoal. I just every time I close my eyes. Not every time. That would be disturbing. But
It's
now I'm
every
gonna
8 or
think
10
about it again.
times.
Yeah. Okay.
So
So
since
March.
since Dirk left, you
Yeah.
read it.
Yeah. March of Burgeoning Life. X and green has the same clause about green cards. Um, choose target creature with mana value less than X. Search your library for a creature card with the same name as that creature. Put it onto the battlefield tapped. Then shuffle. Okay.
Huh, less than X. Interesting.
Yeah.
I did not notice that before.
Yeah, so if you just say you don't exile a card, say you just play this for a green, you get nothing. And if you pay 1 and a green, you can get a free creature, like an Ornithopter.
I mean, but it has to be on the board.
That's true, but I can always just, play the Ornithopter from my hand first. Yeah. But yeah, so this is limited in two ways. It's limited by the cost, and it's limited by the fact that you have to already have one out. So that keeps it from being dumb.
Exactly, yeah. Which is important. You don't want even more freaking free green stuff for whatever free green stuff decks there are that exist in all the formats.
Can we go a set without having to ban anything in standard? You wouldn't think it would be that hard, but lately... But I mean, this
Seraphin
like it could be
Wolf
neat.
said the blue one was previewed on the live stream today. X creatures phase out. Oh.
Ooh. At
cool.
instant speed, all these seem to be instant, which that's another reason why this green one can't be too good, is because you really shouldn't have instant speed. Just, oh, by the way, get out this threat from my library and then untap.
Yeah.
But that's interesting. That could be a good one to play. If it's X creatures phase out, to be like somebody's like Wrath of God, and you're like, sure, hold on 1 second. These aren't here anymore. Okay, you were saying?
So, hey, Dirk, you're back. Although you didn't unmute.
Oh, sorry.
There we go. Hey, Dirk, you're back.
Yes.
I think it was you at the end of last week's show said something about Mirror Gallery. Go down to Artifacts and look at Mirror Box.
Okay. Mirror Box. For 3, it's a rare artifact. The legend rule doesn't apply to permanents you control.
Doesn't Mirror Gallery cost 5?
Something like that.
Okay.
Oh, but wait, we're not done.
Yeah, I know. That's why this is dumb.
Each legendary creature you control gets +1/+1. Although it technically, the legend rule just doesn't apply. Alright, each non-token creature you control gets +1/+1 for each other creature you control with the same name as that creature? What?
Each non-token creature you control gets +1/+1 for each other creature you control with the same name as that creature. So, if you have out 2 tokens, this doesn't matter. If you have out 2 non-token creatures, like, say you have 2 Raito Sentinels, 2 cards over. Raito? I don't know how to pronounce that. If you have 2 of them out, each one gets +1/+1 because each one looks and says, hey, there's somebody else with my name. So, and of course, because the legend rule doesn't apply to your permanents, if you get 2 Kakushos out, then they're like, I'm awesome. And the other one's like, I know. So they get bigger.
Yeah, this is really a trip for multiple legendary creatures because... So, using Kakusho just because you said it, Kakusho is a 5/5, right?
Yeah.
So if you've got 2 of them with a mirror box, each one's a 6/6 from the creatures you control. Legendary creatures get +1/+1, but then each one is a 7/7 because each one sees the other one and gets a buff from it. And if you play a third one, then they're all getting +3/+3 from mirror box.
Now, here's an interesting point I want to set for that last ability. So, back in, I think, Dominaria, there was an equipment that you can put onto a creature, and when that creature attacks, I think you get a token copy of that creature, and if the original is legendary, the token is not, or something like that. Helm of something. I'm sure chat will let me know.
Helm of the
Hint,
Host.
hint. Helm of the Host. Thank you. So this still technically works with Helm of the Host. Now, none of the tokens are going to get that last ability because because it says non-token creatures. However, the equipped creature still sees all the copies and is like, "There's lots of me." So
That
the
is
equipped
true.
creature will still, you won't pump all of them, but you'll pump the alpha, because they're
Yeah.
like, it's so good to be me. It's like uh, to spoil a like 20-year-old movie. It's like Agent Smith in the sequels to The Matrix. The best thing about being me is there's so many
There's
of
so
me,
many of me.
Mr. Anderson.
Also,
So
I think it's already fallen off of HBO Max, but I highly recommend when it comes back, everyone watch Matrix Resurrections. It was so good.
looking forward to seeing it.
All right, chat will riot if we don't talk about the Mech Titan core.
Mech Titan Core.
So, Mech Titan core
Oh,
is
that's
a
one
2-mana,
word.
2/4 rare vehicle that crews for 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not anything super special in the stats department. Although a 2/4 for 2 isn't awful, you know.
Yeah,
But
you gotta
then
crew it, but yeah.
it's got another ability that says pay
So
5, exile Mech Titan core and 4 other artifact creatures and or vehicles you control. So you're exiling 5 things, so 5 artifacts go away. Hey, JT Huffy with the 37-month resub. Thank you. Good lord. 37? In a row? Okay, while I'm reading this, you guys should go look at the variant art for this because chat's freaking out, but I gotta get through the card first. Okay, so you're losing 5 artifact creatures or vehicles, right?
yeah.
To create Mech Titan, a legendary 10/10 construct artifact creature token with flying, vigilance, trample, lifelink, and haste that's all colors. When that token leaves the battlefield, return all cards exiled with Mech Titan Core, except Mech Titan Core, to the battlefield tapped under their owner's control.
It just needed to call this Black Lion and be done with it.
Right? So yeah, let's go get the variants. Let's see. That's blue, black, red, green. Here we go. No, that's multicolored.
Now the theme is running through my head. The original one, which yes, I saw the remake and I enjoyed most of it. It had its on seasons, its off seasons, but there's no competing with the original theme
Yeah.
that is now running through my head.
And mine. Da 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 da
Da-da-da.
da demonetized, demonetized. Bum, bum, bum.
This has nothing to do with anything, but it will take literally 5 seconds. I don't know why. I was at the office today just kind of staring out the window. I had just finished a client interview and he had left, and I was staring out the window and the rain was just coming down and down and down. And out of nowhere, the Zozo theme started running through my head. Just straight up. And I'm
Wait,
like,
hang on.
what?
That one?
Dun dun dun
Da
dun
da
dun
da da
dun
da da
dun
da.
Da-da.
No, no.
dun dun.
Da-da. Da-da. Yep. So anyway,
The yeah,
yeah.
the variant
yeah.
art is awesome for Mech Titan Core.
Yeah.
I mean, this is neat in a Johnny Tastic kind of way.
But yeah, it's Voltron, and the Mech Titan
It's
core
straight up
is
Voltron.
all form the head.
Yeah.
But then when the Mech Titan goes down, it's because the head got lopped off. But the other 4 vehicles all come back and continue the fight. because the Black Lightning
'Cause- got blowed up.
got blowed up or disabled somehow.
Yeah. So you can't keep doing this over and over again. But I like how you have to have the Mech Titan core, but the other stuff can be literally like a spoon. Or a warm coil engine. Or a spoon.
As long as it's an animated spoon. Because it is artifact creatures.
That's true.
As long as it's the spoon that's running away with the dish, then you're fine.
Well, clearly. I mean, that's exactly the one I was thinking of. So, yeah. Do you guys have spoons in your house that are not alive?
I mean, in my house, yeah. I'm broke. I can't afford all that.
Huh. No wonder Carrie looked at me weird when I came back with the spoons the other day. Anyway.
But yeah, so that's the Mech Titan core. It's freaking silly. I love it. Yeah.
Hey, Chewy. Hey, Chewy, what do you think of Ishin, Two Heavens as One?
I don't know. What color is it?
Gold. It's in gold. It's Mardu colors.
I think that is a serious samurai pants that dude has on there.
Looks like Obi-Wan if he was wearing heavy armor.
Silly heavy armor. Or did you mean the card itself?
The card itself and the art,
Okay, so the art
does look a bit cumbersome.
Is a bit cumbersome, yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I haven't read this card, so it's I don't know. It's a Mardu, a red, a white, and a black. Okay. So for 3 mana, is a 3/4 legendary human samurai who is rare. If a creature attacking causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. Huh. I mean, it's in the right 3 colors, so I like that.
Yep, I like that too.
Of course, when I'm trying to think of examples for what to do with it, nothing is. I'm a complete blank. Like Exalted.
You'll think of it later, maybe.
Exalted would totally trigger.
Yeah.
Think,
are
right?
like training. There's like training type mechanics where when this thing attacks with either a smaller creature or a bigger creature, one of them gets a +1/+1 counter or something.
Jay Spencer said there's a samurai that has when a creature attacks alone, you get another combat. That's a good point with Ishin here. Then you get all the combats.
Does it untap the creatures? Because otherwise, I guess I'll have to do that one later. I haven't even begun to cover all the cards. I haven't begun to read all. But I just felt like there was a lot. I was just scrolling through cards. I saw this one, and I'm like, this seems like it could be interesting. And then, like you, I kind of blanked on it a little bit. So I was wondering if maybe somebody else had an idea. There's 1,000,001, like, when this creature attacks, do blah effects. So, oh, and I was thinking of Mike's Commander, the mono red samurai.
Mono red samurai.
Mono red samurai from original
what's her
Kamigawa.
face? Yeah.
Yeah. What's her face? Good old. Everybody's got to
What's her
attack
face?
all the time.
Whenever he plays the deck, we go, well, we're all dead.
Come on, guys. This is
Why
not
do I
that
not know
hard.
what you're talking about?
Mike's commander deck. With
Oh,
the girl.
Fumiko.
Fumiko.
I was
thank
like,
you.
I completely forgot she was a samurai, and completely forgot she was from original Kamigawa. Like, I was like, what are you talking about?
But that's Bushido. Bushido doesn't trigger until you attack until it's blocked, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, that's right. So, not so much. But still, again, you're in white and black and red. Those are the like get in there colors.
Yeah.
I mean, green does too, but green's more just not as tricksy about it.
Like, just scroll up a teeny bit. A sorry captain says 4/3 with haste for 3 a red and a white. Whenever a samurai or warrior you control attacks alone, it gets +1/+0 until end of turn for each samurai or warrior you control. So it would do that. Dos veces.
There you go.
Just for a very simple one. Oh. Hey, one of you read a Ganjo Uprising right next to it. This card is trippy.
Okay. All right, Aganjo Uprising. For X, a red and a white. It is a sorcery. It's rare. This is a story spotlight card. Create X 2/2 white samurai creature tokens with vigilance. They gain menace and haste until end of turn. Each opponent creates X -1 2/2 white samurai creature tokens with vigilance, but they don't gain haste or menace.
Well, I mean, if
Because,
they did, it wouldn't matter.
It's your turn.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's say X is 4. So I get 4.
And let's say it's an empty board, just to make things easier.
Sure. And I'm playing with the 3 of you guys as usual. And so each of you get 3. But then whoever I'm attacking, keep in mind, mine have menace. So to even block any one of them, you got to use 2. So it's a lot easier for me to get in, especially with my ninjas.
Yeah. 3 seems to be the ideal number because they can block 1
and 2 get in.
And 2 get in. But also just 2 would be the same. Because they get 1 and your 2 get in. So I guess that's probably even better.
Yeah. So
because
so
of the
2
menace.
So for 2, you're spending 4 mana, you get 2 guys, and you can attack with right away, and they get 1 guy that can't even block. Assuming they have no other creatures to help him out with.
Yeah.
That is kind of trippy.
Yeah, I like this card a lot.
This card kind of gives the finger to Biorhythm a little bit.
I mean, most cards need to give the finger to Biorhythm, so.
That is not a... Yeah. Try to think of... Yes.
We should look at the lands.
Okay.
Because there's a cycle of legendary lands that all have channel.
Yeah.
That do neat things.
Yeah. Did we not cover Boseiju last time? I don't think we did. I don't think we covered
did.
No.
No.
Any of them.
Okay. So.
Boseiju, Who Endures. Legendary land that's rare. Tap, add a green.
Ha-ha! Wait.
Broken.
It also has channel. For 1 and a green, destroy Boseiju, Who Endures. Destroy target artifact.
Discard Boseiju.
Oh, discard.
Yeah,
Oh,
because channel is from hand, remember.
Okay. Discard Boseiju, Who Endures. Destroy target artifact, enchantment, or non-basic land an opponent controls. Ooh. That player may search their library for a land card with a basic land type, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. This ability costs 1 less to activate for each legendary creature you control.
Yeah, I think that last part about the cost reduction applies to each of these
part
legendary
of the cycle.
lands. Yeah. And this one only costs 1 and a green anyway. So if you control a legendary creature, it just costs a green. But even for 1 and a green, I mean, this is basically destroy. This is a naturalize or non-basic land, and then they can go get a basic land
that you can't counter.
Yes.
Like the old-fashioned way.
Right. This is not a spell. This is a land.
Well, it's
and
an
Well,
an
the thing
ability.
ability.
is, it's
Yeah.
discard, so you can get this back.
Well,
If you
yeah.
have the means, you can get it back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Another
that's the
one.
only one I had read, I think, and I was like, "Holy crap!" Because that's really good.
Hmm?
That one's really good. Now I had read this blue one.
Oh, okay,
This
what's
is
it do?
Otawara, Soaring City. This is the Moonfolk City.
Oh, okay.
Legendary. It taps for a blue. Notice these also come in untapped, so you
Well,
can
yeah,
just yeah, but it's nice. I realize they're legendary, so it balances out. Channel for 3 and a blue, and discard this card. Return target artifact, creature, enchantment, or planeswalker to its owner's hand. This ability costs 1 less to activate for each legendary creature you control. So you
yeah,
might go, oh, is this, I mean, like, is an unsummon really worth it? But this is a really versatile unsummon. Again, that's one of the things I like about these is they seem to be flexible.
yeah,
And, and this the activation being 3 and a blue, this is one where you really do start to notice the cost reduction at like 1, but definitely at 2 legendary creatures. But the ability to either save your own guy from targeted removal or board wipe, or to be like, oh look, you maybe you sacrificed a bunch of treasure to play that planeswalker, and now it's back in your hand, or just mess up combat. Especially with a lot of the set being like, hey, look, modified is pretty cool, then you're probably going to have a decent amount of targets for artifacts, creatures, enchantments.
yeah. I really like that too.
Yeah,
The
seems pretty good.
For some reason, I want to channel it to bounce a vehicle that's already been crewed. So the vehicle just vanishes, and everybody driving it is just sort of standing there going, "Huh? What?
Yeah,
Didn't we have a
from
car a minute? Hey guys."
that's great. From a flavor perspective, I'm just kind of like picturing them, and they've still got their hands out in front of them, making the like revving motion, and they're like,
Yeah,
what? And then from a mechanics standpoint, they've also got a bunch of tapped creatures now. So it works on both fronts.
yeah.
Okay.
So that's Otawara. Let's see. So Kenzan, Crucible of Defiance, says for 3 in a red and discard, you get 2 1/1 colorless spirit creature tokens. They gain haste until end of turn. So that's a lot less like silly.
It feels less over underwhelming, but it's free, essentially free creatures. It's 2 creatures for 1 card,
Yeah.
and in red,
I think that's
I
art.
I would not underestimate this just because I've learned my first instinct is, oh, this isn't very Johnny at all. So I'm like, it's boring. But I've learned to not underestimate this sort of clean effect.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. And again, as Chewy said, can't be countered. So this in a red deck against a control deck, this could be pretty spicy. And all of these, by the way, none of these are sorcery speed.
Yeah. Channel is whenever the hell you want, unless
Yeah.
otherwise specified. So.
So again, like end of your turn, make 2 dudes. Counter that, you can't.
No.
So yeah.
Going back to the bouncing accrued vehicle, Mycroft said, "Dude, where's my car?" And that made me giggle.
Ashton Kutcher is actually a pretty great actor. We may not appreciate it a whole lot from his, that 70s show days, but anyway. And finally, at least so far, we don't have a
Oh yeah, we don't have a green one. No,
white
a
one.
white one.
We
That's
have a
the one.
green one. We don't have a white one yet, but we do have Okay, I'm just I'm horrible with pronunciation anyway, and Mike is not here. But we have
Takanuma.
the black one. Takanuma. Abandoned Mire. It's the black one. Channel 3 and a black and discard this. Mill 3 cards. Then return a creature or planeswalker card from your graveyard to your hand. It's really too bad Mike isn't here.
Oh, I had read this one too. I really like this.
Yeah.
Because like it goes back to your hand, but in a set full of things like channel and ninjutsu, having things in your hand is better than on the battlefield sometimes.
Yes. Agreed.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
forgot I had seen
And
this one too. I think I made this
and
exact comment in the Discord actually, but whatever.
and then of course the mill 3 can be just like, let me see if what I can get, because this doesn't target. So you just mill and then you pick. And most of the time I think you're probably going to have something in mind already that's already there, but you could be like, all right, I'm going to get this guy back, but let me go and do this. And then you're like, oh, that's even better. Yeah, I'm going to take this one. Thanks.
Yeah, like you attack and you've got a ninja in your graveyard already that you want to get back and ninjutsu out, and they go, okay, here are my blocks, and you go channel this, mill 3, and then you get an even better ninja, and you're like, oh, I'll get that back, and then there we go, because ninjutsu that out instead, because it's way better.
Yep.
Yeah.
So those are the lands. We haven't seen the white one yet.
We have, but it's not, apparently it's not here yet. It was revealed today.
Okay.
Surf and Wolf said a Ganju channel costs 2 and a white, and I'm gonna assume the white one is 4 damage to attacking or blocking creature. Oh.
Which, I mean, we've seen like I think it's called Divine Arrow or something, where it's 1 and a white for that. But again, this is uncounterable.
Yeah.
And let's not forget the fact that these are perfectly safe to just put in your deck as a land. To just be like, oh, well, that I don't need to do that this game. So, look, a land. All right, are the Invoke cards a cycle? I feel like the Invoke cards are a cycle.
I don't know. What are Invoke cards?
They have the name Invoke something.
Well,
yeah, so for example,
yet.
Nope, there's one in white. Invoke Justice. That's right. You know what? I think I read a design article last week where they talked about what if they did something in the style of like ultimatums, but they did monocolored ultimatums. What would those look like? So Invoke Justice for 1 and 4 white. So you got to be really into white. Sorcery. Rare. Return target permanent card from your graveyard to the battlefield, then distribute 4 +1/+1 counters among any number of creatures and or vehicles target player controls. So, gee gosh golly. The fact that you get to pick any permanent card from your graveyard is huge. And then, most of the time you're going to be giving yourself 4 +1/+1 counters. But if you really want to play politics, you can also, in a multiplayer game, you can be like, yeah, and here, that guy's big. Now go smash Mike, because he's not here. So I get to pick on him. So that's Invoke Justice.
That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's a blue one too. But I just took 2 cards in a row. So, hey, Dirk, you like blue cards almost as much as green cards.
Almost. So we're gonna invoke the winds for
the wins. Yes,
that's
you just win the game.
That's weird. The first one was justice. The red one is calamity. The blue one is the winds. Stop. Why not a better? That's dumb. I don't like that. Okay, sorry. Keep going.
For 1 and 4 blue, it's a rare sorcery and says gain control of target artifact or creature, untap it.
Yeah, that makes
Read the
sense
flavor
for
text.
1 and 4 blue.
Are
Read
you
the flavor text.
Are you seriously telling me your heavy combat mech blew away?
See, yes, you do want to invoke the wind sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes a wind is all you need. You can, in fact, be the wind beneath this guy's. Well, he doesn't have any wings. But yeah, straight up, just take that, and it's not an enchantment like mind control. Is that the name of it?
Yeah.
That can be destroyed. You just straight up get the creature. Or artifact if you really want, just like,
Oh, come on. The
insert
black
big.
one has a cool name, too.
All right, what's the black one?
Invoke Despair.
Oh, this
Invoke-
was the first one I saw. I think this was the
Invoke the
one that they
winds.
talked about. I think this was the one they talked about. Maybe it was the stream where they talked about this cycle. But go ahead then. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so for 1 and 4 black, it says target opponent sacrifices a creature. If they can't, they lose 2 life and you draw a card. Oh my god. Then repeat this process for an enchantment and a planeswalker. Oh my god. Okay, that's gross. I like this card a lot.
Yeah.
But
I like
Justice,
how
Despair, Calamity, the green one, the winds. Boo!
Invoke the green one. I actually kind of like
the-
that name. Invoke the green one.
The green one's not here yet, so...
Yeah. But so I kind of like this one because it almost kind of escalates a little bit. Target opponent sacrifices a creature. Come 5 mana, in most games, thinking of limit at least, they probably have one. Then enchantment. Depending on the set, probably, but maybe not. It's a little more unlikely. And then a planeswalker, and then you're like, okay, almost certainly they don't have a planeswalker, again, at least in limited. In constructed, it's a little more likely, but it feels like with each iteration of this, the chances of them having whatever that thing is to sacrifice go down, just in pure statistical terms.
Yeah. Which is why I like it. Because chances
the flavor
are
text.
I'm drawing at least 1 card from this, probably 2.
And then whatever you're not drawing, they're still sacrificing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Read the flavor text, because the white one didn't have flavor text. I just went back to check. But
Although officials said it was a sewer failure, the people whispered that it was a warning of Night's Reach.
And see, I read that, and I'm like, oh, it's a callback to the Myosian of Night's Reach, which we haven't really heard a whole lot in the story about the Myosian.
Yeah,
If they're still around or
Seraphin
anything,
Wolf
so.
said, Invoke are a cycle, they are flavored after the original dragons. Not dragons.
Dragons or
Myosian.
Myosian?
Yeah. Yeah, they fixed it in their next message, but I just kept reading. Except...
Well, the white one...
except they're not
white
at
Myosian
all.
was a Wrath of God. I remember that I won a game at the Kamigawa pre-release because I stalled long enough to get all the mana to hard cast my white Myosian. So the white one was a...
they said
maybe...
flavored, not like mechanical. So okay, yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. So then the red one. Invoke Calamity for 1 and 4 red. This one's an instant. The others were sorceries. The white one was a sorcery.
Black one's a sorcery.
Yeah, this one's an instant.
Huh, okay.
You may cast up to 2 instant and or sorcery cards with total mana value 6 or less from your graveyard and or hand without paying their mana costs. If those spells would be put into your graveyard, exile them instead. Exile, Invoke Calamity. Holy cow.
Wow, that seems good.
Mm-hmm.
This one seems like it's waiting for someone to break it in half, which is why you notice that this is not the first card we've even talked about tonight where it sets a total cap. Like what was the white dragon when it dies? Total mana value of 4 or less. Here, total value 6 or less. So up to 2, but it's not like each one is gonna be 6 mana because that would be dumb.
Oh,
But I feel like you're gonna be able to do dumb things with this, just like crazy things. Go ahead.
apparently the Mojang were previewed earlier today. They're in something commandery, according to JT Huffy. He said the commander supplement, but I don't know if that means the commander decks or they're in the cards that are technically part of the commander set that aren't in the commander decks and are only in like some other special kind of booster or some idiot crap that WotC's doing these days. Because that's the thing. There are commander cards that aren't in the commander decks, but are in.
Yeah.
That they're part of the commander set, and I hate it.
Yeah. Yeah. I really wish that somehow we could convince them this is a bad thing. But as long as people buy it, they're going to be like, people like it. So, yeah.
Hey, look at the guy right next to Invoke Calamity. It's a Yamazaki. You remember them?
No. Remind me.
The brothers Yamazaki?
Oh, I was looking at the Kami of Industry. So I thought you were saying this creature is a Yamazaki. And I'm like, I don't remember that lore. Tell me all about it. The other guy. This is what happens when there's, Invoke Calamity, at least on my screen, is in the middle.
Yeah.
So, okay.
That's why I specified.
The brothers Yamazaki.
It's a Yamazaki. Yeah, Heiko Yamazaki. Heiko? Heiko? I don't know. How do you say that?
Heiko. Heiko?
Well, I was asking probably Chifuji, since he seems to be the one that is helping us with that. But, yeah, Heiko Yamazaki the General. For 3 and red is a 3/3 human samurai. That's legendary, of course. Uncommon. Trample. And whenever a samurai or warrior you control attacks alone, you may cast target artifact card from your graveyard this turn. Ooh.
I feel like I saw this in white for enchantments. I feel like I saw a white samurai.
You did. It's the other Yamazaki. Norika Yamazaki, the poet. For 2 and a white is a 3/2 human samurai with vigilance. And same thing, when a samurai warrior you control attacks alone, you may cast target enchantment card from your graveyard this turn.
We gotta get these guys together. And then, somebody else to send in.
Yeah, it is Heiko. Thank you, Chifuji. Says, I prefer to let my sword do the talking. And Norika says, the blades will have their say, but peace is built with words. Huh?
Family reunions with these two are probably very interesting.
Yeah,
Thanksgiving.
Let's go with that.
Yeah, Thanksgiving is probably like, give me the salt. Well, tell me why you want the salt.
Okay, let's see here. There are a couple more cards that people in chat have mentioned. Anchor to Reality was mentioned a couple times in blue.
In blue. Anchor to Reality.
Yeah. Hey, read that.
This is a story spotlight card. It's when the Wandering Emperor was kind of infused with the reality chip. So for 2 and a blue, so a sorcerer, it's uncommon. It is an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice an artifact or creature. Search your library for an equipment or vehicle card. Put that card onto the battlefield, then shuffle. If it has mana value less than the sacrifice permanent's mana value, scry 2. Huh. So it's like a super narrow tinker, because tinker is dumb.
Exceedingly dumb.
Yeah. So this specifies an equipment or vehicle, so that's important. And then if whatever you sacrificed was more expensive than the new thing, you get to scry too, so it's a little bit of a benefit there. But sometimes you just want to get that thing, like the uh, is it Batter Skull that I'm thinking of? That's an equipment, right?
It is,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
So maybe I will sacrifice the bauble and get that, and like, oh darn, I won't get to scry. I just have a Batter Skull now. And then other times you'll be like, all right, this is the thing I need, and I don't need this slightly expensive more other thing here. I don't know, maybe it's a dragon that has a dies effect. That would be pretty sweet. And
Hmm.
then I also get to scry. Yeah. We talked about um the reconfigure stuff because we had the monkey. We talked about the monkey last time.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
But but I don't think we actually talked about the reality chip because it's like
We did
it's
not.
the it's the MacGuffin in the story. So somebody else talk about it because I just read a card.
Well, the reality chip for 1 and a blue is a 0/4 legendary artifact creature equipment jellyfish.
Ah,
Yes.
I
That's rare.
completely forgot. Oh my god. Look at how tiny that type line is. It's like
It is
legendary artifact
exceedingly
creature,
tiny.
equipment jellyfish. Because they had to call it a jellyfish and make it legendary, so they had to shrink it down. So it sounds like this.
And it says, you may look at the top card of your library anytime.
Nailed it.
Anytime. As long as the reality chip is attached to a creature, you may play lands and cast spells from the top of your library.
Ooh.
That's
So
nice.
it's like a future sight. Um Although that requires you to play with the top of your library reveal. I don't know. Whatever. But so I think there are a couple of reconfigure creatures that have special effects when they're equipped to a creature. So this is again the MacGuffin. This is what they were trying to design to uh kind of keep the Wandering Emperor in place because if you recall from the lore, she can't really keep herself on a plane, whereas other planeswalkers have to exert effort to planeswalk. She naturally just hurdles through the multiverse unless she can keep herself in one
Yeah, she has
place.
to exert effort to
So,
not planeswalk,
yeah.
and even
But
then,
it
it
turns
doesn't
out,
work.
that the reality chip was kind of commissioned by Jin Cataxius. So,
Oh, that's
as
probably
part
not
of
good.
yeah, just just in general, yeah. But there was another one. Chewy, have you read in white Cloud Steel Kieran?
Also, it reconfigures for 2 and a blue. Brian sort of jumped in, I think, before Dirt got to that part.
Oh, sorry about that, Dirk.
Reality chip is cool. I looked at the Cloud Steel Kieran earlier because I used it as an example, but I haven't read it.
Okay.
For 2 and a white, this is the artifact creature Equipment Kieran. That's rare. It's a 3/2 with flying, and the equipped creature has flying. And you what? I'm sorry. Equipped creature has flying, and you can't lose the game, and your opponents can't win the game, and it reconfigures for 5. So
Yeah,
as
I
long as it's
just
attached to something, it's a Platinum Angel.
yeah. Or that creature is a Platinum Angel, and then if they, for whatever reason, can't kill this, they can just kill that creature,
Right, that was
and you
pronoun
can
issue. When I said as long
then
as it's attached to a creature, it's a play. I meant the creature that's attached
yeah,
to. Yeah.
right. Well, yeah, but then you can always re-equip this to something else. So it costs 5 to do so, but and they you can't do so at instant speed, so they have a narrow window of like, all right, kill that and then kill you. But Platinum Angel, when it died, it just died. This, you're just like, all right, who wants to be an angel now? I saw this one just when we were looking at something else. Maybe it was the dragon I can't pronounce. I just happened to scan this one. I was like, need to talk about that later.
Yeah, that's huh.
Your reaction was exactly what I was going for. Another reconfigure creature that has an effect. Actually kind of like this guy because he has an effect both on his own and then when he's equipped. This is the Lion Sash, also in white. For 1 and a white, it's an artifact creature equipment cat. Yes. Um,
Meow.
it's a 1/1. However, pay a white, exile target card from a graveyard. If it was a permanent card, put a +1/+1 counter on Lion Sash. And importantly, you can do that no matter what form the cat is in, whether it's a creature or an equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each +1/+1 counter on Lion Sash.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I like this a lot. I feel like most of the time I'm going to want to put this on something else because it's going to be almost a way to protect the sash itself. And then if that creature ever dies, you still have the lion. But not to mention whatever it is probably bigger than this. But this is very scavenger ooze-ish.
That's what I was trying to think. Oh, and Jay Spencer just said it in the chat too. Yeah, that's what I was trying to think of. I'm like, this is a thing I've seen before, but my brain is refusing because it's in the wrong color. That's why.
Yeah, it's similar because I think the ooze also gains you life, but this I like this a lot. This seems pretty
Yeah.
good.
And it reconfigures for 2, which is
Thank you.
nice and cheap.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry if I didn't say that.
Wow, that is neat. Yeah, I
Yeah.
wanted to talk about the ones in red.
All right, let's go to the red.
The what are they called? Lizard blades.
Lizard
Dirk,
blade.
have you seen the
Oh,
lizard
yeah.
blades?
Lizard blades.
Yeah, that's the name of the card,
From-
which is really
Oh,
stupid.
gotcha. Well, I saw the stuff. I never actually read it.
Oh, you should
Okay.
read it.
So the lizard blades for 1 and a red is a 1/1 artifact creature equipment lizard. Got in 1. It has double strike, and equipped creature has double strike, and it reconfigures for 2.
Now, I might be wrong, but I think 2 to cast and 2 to equip is the cheapest way to give a creature double strike with equipment. I'm pretty sure.
Pretty sure you're correct.
Mm-hmm.
And that alone is just like bone chilling. Like, oh, no. Cuz I always loved like the what was it called? The original double strike equipment? Fire
Shrieker?
Yeah.
Fire Shrieker.
Yeah.
But didn't it cost 4 or equip for 4? There's a 4. Now I gotta go look. Fire Shrieker. It costs 3 and equip for 2. Oh, there was no 4. But yeah, I just love the fact that they're lizards with swords on them, and if you drop them, they run off and bite someone twice. Like they skitter away, and then someone goes, "Ow, ow!"
Yeah.
That makes me happy. But yeah,
Yeah.
4 mana to give anything double strike is kind of gross.
Chewy, have you seen in black the Blade of the Oni?
That sounds familiar. Oh yeah, I did. For 1 and a black, it's a 3/1 artifact creature equipment demon that's mythic with menace. And the equipped creature has base power and toughness 5/5, has menace, and is a black demon in addition to its other colors and types. And it reconfigures for 2 and 2 black. Which it would have to cost that much because
Yeah.
holy crap.
Yeah, because You can put this on a 1/1, and now you have a 5/5 with menace.
Which
And it's
I'm good
demon.
with that. Yeah, I really like this weapon. Like even just as a creature, weirdly enough, a 2-mana 3/1 with menace is fine.
Super aggressive. And then what
Yeah,
happens is they play guys to block it, and then you throw it on something else. So
and that thing has whatever it is has an anime transformation.
yeah,
Whoops.
And they
Oh,
yell to power up.
pretty much, yeah. Uh, did you see the Dockside Chef? I really like this card. Like it's nice and simple, but hey Brian, this
it's
seems like something you'd appreciate.
so the Dockside Chef, for a single black is a 1/2 enchantment creature, human citizen.
I got nothing.
Human citizen. For 1 and a black, it has the activated ability of pay 1 and a black and sacrifice an artifact or creature, draw a card. The flavor text is the squirming is how you know it's fresh.
But yeah, it's just a
And there's all
nice.
these it's a simple, it's an uncommon, it's a simple clean effect.
Yeah.
Um yeah. I like it, and that's don't underestimate the ability to just be like, oh, that's about to die. So uh turn it into, it's not even like lose a life and draw a card, it's just straight up just draw a card.
Yeah.
And as Dirk pointed out, there's stuff in the set to get stuff. There's stuff in this set to get stuff from the graveyard back. There are dies triggers. There are there's a decent amount here. So yeah, I feel like this guy could be a really good centerpiece in a draft deck. I can see a deck really coming centering around something like that.
Yeah. I like it.
Oh, geez. I just read the shrine creature immediately beneath Dockside Chef, and that is just wrong.
The Goshintai of Hidden Cruelty?
Yes.
Okay, what's
Keep
that do?
going.
Oh, okay, I'll keep going. For 3 and a black, it's a 2/2 legendary I'll try it again. Legendary enchantment creature shrine. That's uncommon. It has Death Touch, so 2/2 with Death Touch. At the beginning of your end step, you may pay 1. When you do, destroy a target creature with toughness X or less. Oh, where X is the number of shrines you control. Oh, that is cool.
It's repeating destruction. It's the beginning of your end step straight up. Just nuke that thing. Nuke that thing. I realize it's got a limit on it because you have to play shrines, and all the shrines are legendary. But it's repeating destruction. That feels heavy,
That's pretty
Doc.
neat.
Hmm. Sorry, I just read
Yeah.
that for the first time, and I was like, ah.
The Goshintai are tripping me out. Do we have all of those?
Uh,
Yeah, if we do not.
uh,
Because the blue one is missing.
no, we talked about the white one earlier.
Do we have a red? Oh, we have a red one.
Okay.
What about a green? Do we have a green? We do.
All right. So, Go Shentai of Ancient Wars. For 2 and a red is a 2/2 legendary enchantment creature shrine. It has first strike. At the beginning of your end step, you may pay 1 mana. When you do, Go Shentai of Ancient Wars deals X damage to target player or planeswalker, where X is the number of shrines you control. That feels like a really good clock. Of like, well, we're both in a stalemate, so now you're just gonna take 2 until you're dead, or you break the stalemate. Why did you laugh?
I just like it.
Okay, I didn't know if there was something there.
It's just blam in the face, nerd.
Yeah.
It seeks those consumed with rage and offers burning blades. Buh.
Okay.
All right,
And
what's
then
the
what's
green
the
one do?
green one?
Green one. Ghost Shintai of Boundless Vigor. For 1 and a green, it's a 1/1. Blah Shrine. Trample. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may pay 1.
Wait,
When
at the
you
beginning
do,
of your what?
oh, instep. My bad. Beginning of your instep, you may pay 1. Whenever you do, when you do, put a +1/+1 counter on target shrine or each shrine, or for each shrine you control. Like letters are disappearing on me.
It
So at the beginning
happens.
of your end step, you may pay 1. When you do, put a +1/+1 counter on target shrine for each shrine you control.
Yeah, so you're pumping a shrine.
I mean, so a lot of these, I feel like you really want to get to at least 2 shrines to really maximize to really get a lot out of their effects.
Well,
This
yeah.
one, I'm probably like the red one, dealing 1 damage a turn, you'll get there. But if you're racing somebody and you're spending them in every turn, you might fall behind if they're playing bigger stuff. This one, I'm probably fine to play on turn 2 and just grow it every turn, probably. Feels like that might be good enough.
Could be.
Could be.
So I get the feeling we're losing Dirk.
Getting tired.
All right,
It is
Dirk.
after 10.
Just for you then. This is a card that is not in the card image gallery just yet, but I'm gonna drop it. At least I don't think it is. Is it? Where's the gold? I've lost the gold. Okay, it is. It
Don't
is
lose
not.
your gold.
So I'm gonna drop it in the Discord, and then open it here for everyone to see. And Dirk, I want you to read this card.
Ha!
Colossal Sky Turtle. For 4 green blue. It's a 6/5 enchantment creature turtle. That's uncommon. Flying, ward of 2. Channel, 2 and a green. Discard Colossal Sky Turtle. Return target card from your graveyard to your hand. And it has a second channel ability for 1 and a blue. Discard Colossal Sky Turtle. Return target creature to its owner's hand.
That's pretty versatile. And it's
Yeah.
also a 6/5 flyer that's hard for them to kill.
Mm-hmm.
This
Fear the
thing,
Sky Turtle.
this thing actually is a floor wax and a dessert topping, because it's either a 6/5 flying beater, or it's recursion, or it's a bounce spell.
Mm-hmm.
What? But I just saw this pop up elsewhere, and I went, I'm saving that, and I'm getting Dirk to read it, because what?
That's the right answer.
I got one more in green. If Dirk, if you're okay for one more, otherwise we can just save it for next time. Do you want to read this one, or do you want me to read it to you?
I'll read it.
All right, it's Shigeki.
Shigeki Jukari Visionary.
Jukai, yeah.
Jukai Visionary. For 1 and a green, it's a 1/3 legendary enchantment creature, Snake Druid. That's
God,
rare.
look at that tiny type line again.
Yeah.
So for 1 and a green and tap, return Shugeki Jukai Visionary to its owner's hand. Reveal the top 4 cards of your library. You may put a land card from among them onto the battlefield tapped, with the rest into your graveyard. Huh.
That is cool.
So channel of XX green. Discards Shigeki. Return X target non-legendary cards from your graveyard to your hand.
That's neat too.
Mm-hmm.
The first reason I want to talk about this is the first part of this felt a whole lot like a Sakura Tri-Builder. More limited, but it costs 1 in the green. And it's a snake druid. and you're gonna look at the top 4 and get a land card, and not just put it into your hand, but put it onto the battlefield tapped. So I felt like this was an homage. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. And of course, Sakura Tribe Elder is only 1 and a green, but while it's not broken, it's really good. Like it's really good for a simple utility creature. Um, the fact is, it is a rampant growth, but it's a rampant growth on legs, which makes it easier to get back and abuse. So this first part reminded me of that. But then you're also filling your graveyard, which also helps with that second ability. And it's really interesting to have a second ability that specifically looks for non-legendary cards. Not only does that not let you loop multiple copies of this guy, because I could see that happening. He doesn't get exiled by this effect, but it also, in a set with a large number of legendary creatures in it and legendary permanents, it kind of encourages you to go in a different direction. So, yeah, I thought this was kind of neat.
I like that. You play him, you do the first ability, and now that that stuff's in there, it the first ability returns him to your hand, so now you can channel.
Also true. And you've got at least, hopefully, 1 more mana to put into the channel.
Mm-hmm.
Because one should always support their channel, right, Chewy?
Ah,
Ah. Yeah,
like and subscribe.
there you go. Okay.
So yeah.
So I'm good. I'm good. There's still interesting stuff here, but
Yeah,
I
we didn't
figure
even
next
get
week we'll
down
probably...
to the sagas,
Yeah,
which are all
but
beautiful.
they're all great.
Like,
But
I don't know if I've even read any of these, but the art is just insane for every single one of these.
thought we talked about 1 or 2 last week.
Yeah,
But
yeah, but I mean, other than those, I haven't actually read any of these at all. Oh my god, Azusa's Mini Journeys. I did read this one.
yeah. But hopefully next week we'll have a beardy man.
Hopefully. His
Yeah.
job won't try to eat him. We didn't get to the Nezumi biker gang, because there's a lot going on in this set, and it weirds me out. What was that? Oh, it's a snake ninja. Okay. Just scrolling along, and my brain was like, you should stop and look at that. It's like, what is it? So yeah, we will do more, of course, next week, because that's what we do, actually.
That is what we do.
We're good at this, or at least I hope we are, because we've been doing it for way too many years. So, before we get into the final thoughts, I'm gonna mix it up a little bit. I'm gonna remind people to go to patreon.com/themanapool and become a lifeguard, because support your channel. Aren't we your channel? You love us. Mwah. But yeah, you get the early access and the odds and ends and the mythic lifeguard shout out. Hey, speaking of which, let me thank... Wait, no. Violet Moon, Team Uhellas Are You, Scuzzo, Pinball Witch, PJ McMullen, Gothic Man, Mr. Dr. Lewis. Aw, Beardy Man, I missed that guy. Kim Ho, Casey, John Parker, Jason Kaus, Jason Doan, Jake Jansons, Connor Kennedy, Cody... What the hell? Oh my god. So, okay, real quick, the cover of my chair is starting to come up. Like, you know, the it's not leather, but you know, if it was a chair, like the black stuff on the surface of the chair, you know, is starting to come apart. And I get little bits of black stuff in the floor now. And the air or the heat just kicked on and moved one, and I saw it move out of the corner of my eye, and it was like a big black something moving across my floor. So that's why I freaked out in the middle of this. I apologize. But no, it was a piece of my chair that was in the floor. We're good. Anyway, where was I? Connor Kennedy, Cody Buckawing, Andrew Hunt, ALK Alters, Al, and the Beast Father, Aaron Goodwine. That was really disconcerting, y'all. My brain was like, Roach! Like... Giant spider, run! Oh, all right, I'm okay. Yeah. Also, I don't remember what I was gonna say. All right, how about some final thoughts then? Because I have now lost my damn mind.
I think in terms of final thoughts for me, I'm tired this week. My brain, I am just worn out.
Why
Thank
don't you
goodness for the
go?
weekend. I need some D&D. I need some time to just. Oh, we'll say the one thing I cannot talk about the Book of Boba Fett right now with the
Correct.
guys.
Yeah,
I'm not
because
going to
we'll
spoil
stab him.
anything, but I'm like the series is really good. I am thoroughly enjoying it. And let's see. This is first week of February, so give you guys a month before I can be like, okay, guys, we got to talk about X, Y, and Z, and A, B, and C.
I mean, there's only what this week's episode
There's
and
one
one
more
more, right?
episode. Yeah, next
Yeah.
week is the last episode.
Yeah. So hopefully, by the time we do this next week, I will have watched both of those. Because I'm not allowed to watch it without Amanda because we've watched all the others together, and if I watch it without her, she might actually come over and stab me, like in the neck.
Ooh,
And I
that's
don't want to be. I don't want to be
it's a
stabbed.
bad place to get stabbed.
It
Yeah.
seems like that just seems like the kind of place she'd aim for. I'm just saying.
All I gotta say is if that happens, just don't turn on your camera.
Yeah, I don't think that's allowed on Twitch. So
The thing poking out of your neck that's, as blood is out of your neck.
wow.
Think they might ban you?
Probably, yeah.
So that's my final thought and everything. There's much more that I want to discuss and talk about and everything with that sort, but at the same time, I I will preserve the current situation, the current stuff that's going on. So I really want to talk about it though.
Well,
I was telling Chewy that
I will
when I
text you
got to
just
work,
as soon as I do.
when I got to work this morning, that was the cooler talk was, oh my gosh, and then everything else that was going on. I mean, it really was just. It was so much fun walking into work today and everyone nerding out.
That's the thing that Dirk doesn't ever say.
I know. All right.
There you go, Dirk. I sent you guys a picture.
Now I can't not see it. Oh, jeez.
Yeah. The So okay,
Yep.
I was listening through the odds and ends, not the odds and ends, the stream that Bill and Clues and I did because I was gonna chop it up for YouTube and use the new chapter thing in YouTube to make sections and whatnot. And Bill mentioned he hadn't watched Book of Boba Fett yet. He was just gonna watch it all when it all came out. And he said, unless you're talking about the ass driving a car. And I was like, what are you talking about? But then Clues started talking, and I never actually asked him about it. And while listening through it today, I went, what is he talking about? So I typed into Google, ass driving car. And this is what I got. For those of you that are listening to the audio version of this, apologies, but it looks like an ass driving a car. But it's a scene from Book of Boba Fett where there's a Twi'lek who has like a covering on his head, but is, I don't know what the head tentacles or whatever they are coming out, and it looks like a woman with tiny little gym shorts bent over driving this car at first glance. And yeah, I can't not see it either.
See, I understand what it's describing, but at the same time, because I am such a nerd and everything of this sort, I can't keep focus on it in that sort. I just keep going. It's a Twi'lek.
Yeah, and I know that, but then just focus your eyes up for just a minute, and then
I mean, I understand. I'm looking at it. I'm trying to do exactly that, but at the same time, like, it's a Twi'lek.
Dirk's nerdy outweighs
Yeah,
his pervy.
I was trying to
it
figure
it
out a
to-
way to
is
say that.
totally
Yeah,
superseding
yeah.
any.
Dirk is who we should all strive to be.
The force is way, 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 way too strong with this one. Just really, man. Like, come on.
So,
Oh.
well, that is my final thought. And with that, I am going to bed because if I don't, I'm going to fall asleep in this chair.
I was
Fair
gonna
enough.
say before he said in this chair, I'm like, that is the point, yes, but there are places to do it that are better. So have a good night, Dirk.
Yeah.
Nice,
All right.
Dirk.
Good night, guys.
He's
Oh.
adorable.
He is the moral compass. That's right, Fuji. That is a good point.
Absolutely.
Dirk's like, I don't know what you're talking. It's a Twilight. What? We're like, it's booty shorts. He's like, Twilight. I
Were you ever one of those people that only either saw the old lady or the young woman? Because
no, I can flip back and forth.
I to this day I can't. I only see the old lady. I just can't do it the other way. But I'm also horrible at constellations. Like I look up in the sky and I'm like, I don't get it. I get the concept, just my brain does not go. Yeah, those form those lines. And no, pretty
I
much the only one I
mean,
can do is the only one I can do is the Big Dipper. Even the Little Dipper is outside my league. It's too complicated.
I can find with a glance the Big Dipper, Orion, Cassiopeia, because that's a W, and there's one more that I recognize at a glance. But of course, now that I'm trying to think, Taurus, because it's a V, and that's it for me. Because as an astronomy like person, constellations don't mean anything to me. So, like, yep, I don't care, whatever. Someone's like, "Oh, what constellation is that?" And I'm like, "I don't know." And I pull out the star app on my phone and hold it up. And they're like, "How come you don't know?" I'm like, "Cause that's not astronomy. That's nonsense."
I guess for my final thought, work is. I'm alluded to this last week, I think, but work has continued to be weird, just with things going on right now. Um, just the state of a particular courthouse and some issues going on there, but everybody's trying to make the most of it. So work right now is just weird. So that's why I'm glad to have an outlet with you guys, talking to the other guys and doing D&D on a lot of weekends. Everybody seems to still be enjoying it. So um, yeah, I'm afraid I don't really have. I feel like I had something else to get ready for this. Uh, saying that you're going to nominate a particular group of people to the highest court in the a country is not affirmative action. I feel like I shouldn't have to say that, but some people are kind of remedial.
I mean, it was
So,
fine when Reagan said it, and it was fine when Trump said it, but now Biden says it, and it's some sort of horrific
yeah,
thing because
like
they're inconsistent and it doesn't matter.
I like how one senator said, "Well, I just feel so bad for all the qualified white people out there." And I'm like, how many people do you think are in line for this anyway? It's not like they're trying to make it as like, oh, this is against all white people. And I'm like, no, 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 no. There are probably qualified people in with numerous backgrounds. We are choosing to look at a particular background so the court is a better reflection of the country as a whole. You know that you're not necessarily on the right side of this when even Lindsey Graham of all people is like, yeah, I don't see a problem with the court reflecting the makeup of the country. If that is your like if that is the person defending this, then you really got to stop and be like, how ridiculous is this? So, mm, yeah, I'm not gonna get into all that right now, but just a quick like, as someone that practices law, no, that's not affirmative action. It's just not. Go away. Just go away.
And stop
So,
talking. And
and
put your
stop
mask
talking.
on. Because the Venn
Oh
diagram
yeah.
of people who say that and people who aren't wearing masks is a circle.
Yeah, it's pretty. It might be a little blurred around the edges, but that's just from me weeping after 23 months of this. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Today, I just typed this in the Discord earlier. Today is March the 704th.
Yeah. I'm really tired of this March.
Because it's
This
still March
lousy
2020 in my head.
March weather. Yeah.
Lousy March.
March
Jesus.
weather. You're welcome. But yeah, I got to end on a laugh because you gotta. So, that's my thought.
Yeah. As for me, I already did the Patreon thing. Nice.
You did.
I'm so proud of me. If you
I'm
have
proud
an
of me.
Oculus Quest, by the way, and you want to make sure that the cloud backup is working, apparently it needs to be plugged in on Wi-Fi, fully charged, and in standby mode. And when all of those are met, the plugged in part might not be right, but if it's fully charged, it's probably plugged in. I mean, because you charged it. Uh, yeah, I had to do a factory reset on mine because I was having a problem. I keep getting an error message that says the cooling fan is not functioning properly. And they were like, oh, reboot it. And yeah, it didn't pop up on the reboot, but it popped up on like the next time I turned it on. So they said, do a factory reset. So I went, fine, did a factory reset. Lost all my progress in all my games, which was only like, 3, but still, that pisses me off because cloud backup was turned on. And now I'm still getting the error message. So they're like, okay, we're going to send you a replacement, but there's a shortage. So I went, you know what? I want to save, because it's really hard to motivate myself to even open a game if I know that I'm going to lose all the progress at some point soon. So I
Well,
decided
yeah.
to do some research into how to make the cloud backup work. And on the Oculus support page, it tells you the wrong location because the menus have changed. It's like, go to settings and then go to system and then go to backups. And I'm like, there is no system. That's not what it looks. And there's a screenshot. Like, that's not what it looks like anymore. Jesus. But I found cloud backup and it's on. And that's all it says. And it's like, on Oculus.com in your profile, you can go here, and it'll show you your backups. So I went there, and all the dates, it says last date backed up, was blank on every one. And I went, it's literally never backed up. But it's on. How does this work? And I dug, and I dug, and I dug, and finally, in a reply to a Reddit post about this very topic, someone pointed out it has to be plugged in, fully charged, on the Wi-Fi, and in standby mode. And so mine was out where I have it plugged in charging. So I walked out, unplugged it, turned it on, put it in standby mode, plugged it back in, and walked away and opened up the page where it shows me my backup data. And every once in a while, I just refresh it. And about an hour and a half later, it backed up for the first time. Which about an hour and a half later would be when it was fully charged. So, yeah, for anyone that has a Quest, that's how you make the backup happen. Just the thing you might want to do every once in a while. Because it doesn't tell you that anywhere. Ever. What the hell?
Chewie, you're just supposed to know it.
clearly I'm supposed to know that these 4 freaking criteria must be met.
Yeah.
Oh, and that was my chair breaking. Let's see. The chat points out Black Lives Matter still. Yeah, they do. Trans rights are human rights. Yeah, they are. J.K. Rowling can
Things we
jump in a
really
hole.
things we really shouldn't have to say at this point, but
You know,
I'm not
you'd
saying
think
I'm not saying we shouldn't say them. I'm saying we shouldn't have
have
to.
to say them.
But
Yeah,
yes. But I'm not at all here to say don't say that.
like if you're all for banning books, you're the problem. Oh, just throwing these things out there. Let's get filthy leftist liberals here at the end of the show, Brian.
But I
Anyway.
just had a shower. Oh, on a less serious note, unless you want to end on a serious note,
No, I'm good.
I I enjoy watching football. I am terrible about following a team over a season, so I just don't even try. And I generally I don't devote the time to it, but every now and then I see a game. I just happened to watch one or whatever, and I knew the playoffs were going on before the Super Bowl. So we went over to Dad's house on Saturday. I'm sorry, on Sunday, and saw the second half of the Bengals game. Did you? And Dad said like you don't watch many games. I'm like no. He's like, but somehow the ones you come over and watch are always the best games. I'm like I know. Uh, there was another time where I went over to his place and Indiana University was playing, and they won their first championship game in like 30 years, and I'm like, oh yeah, that was pretty good. So, so did you see this game or did you hear about this game on Sunday?
I think it was one the previous week that people were saying was incredibly insane.
This was this was insane, like to the max. Like I get over there and it's the second quarter and it's winding down and it's 3-21.
Buh.
Bengals down. And I'm like, okay, so I guess the
I guess this game's over.
I'm trying to remember who they were playing. Um I could look it up, but I'm not
The
going
team that's
to.
not going to the Super Bowl.
The team that's not going to the Super Bowl. Uh and I'm like, I guess they're going to the Super Bowl. And Dad's like, yeah, probably. And we're watching while dinner was a ways out, and Carrie and Sam and Mom were working on a puzzle. And then toward the end of the half, I believe the Bengals scored. I'm like, oh, this is starting to get a little interesting. Might have just been a field goal or might have been a touchdown. And then as on the last couple seconds of the half, the other team is basically at their one about to cross over, and they can't make it over the line. In fact, their quarterback gets sacked 17 yards back on the second or third down.
Jesus.
Yeah. So and I don't know that they were not able to make a field goal attempt before the end of the half. So they're still way ahead going into the second half, right? They don't score again, and it all of a sudden it becomes 21-21, and I'm like, is this real? And Dad's like, apparently it's real. We had to pause the game to go eat dinner, and then we're eating dinner, and I'm like, okay, I'm not that big of a sports guy. I'm going back to the TV. He's like, Dad's like, yeah, we're going back to the TV. And I told Sam, all right, it's getting on to your bedtime. We're gonna finish the game and we're gonna go home. And then it was Bengals got a field goal, and I'm like, holy crap, they're gonna win this thing 24 to 21. And then at the last possible moment, the other team got a field goal to go into overtime. The Bengals lose the coin toss, which these are basically sudden death overtime, right? So the other team gets the ball, they're going down the field, they make a long pass, and it's intercepted. And the Bengals basically run it back enough over a series of downs during the drive to make a field goal. And Dad and I just kind of looked at each other. And at this point, I'm like, all right, Sam, we got to go because it's, but holy crap, dude. It was, and I think the Bengals have never won a Super Bowl, like, ever. So I didn't watch the next game because we had to go home. But that was a heck of a game. So I know I'm kind of dragging things out here, but it was neat to see. And I like it. I enjoy watching individual games. I just don't devote the time to watching like a series. So, yeah, it was neat. That's my only sports related story.
And apparently, one of the players from the Bengals earlier today said they're going to win it for the Cincinnati Zoo and Harambe. The defensive end Sam Hubbard said we're doing this for him on Harambe today. So yeah, they're gonna win.
Nice.
That's a meme that's
Well, yeah.
way too many years in the making for them to not do it.
Oh yeah. Had to wait a long. I mean, like, half of our audience is probably too young to remember that meme.
Maybe not our audience, but
I know. I'm just saying. It's not new.
also
Raise your hands.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, raise your hands if you know what the phrase wardrobe malfunction means in relation to a Super Bowl halftime show.
Also, bruh, I'm gonna have to watch the halftime show if nothing else.
Who's playing?
Good Lord.
Like,
It's
not
Dr. Dre, Eminem, Kendrick Lamar, Mary J. Blige, and Snoop Dogg. I'm gonna die.
Holy crap.
Right?
What was like J-Lo and Mariah Carey and all busy? Because that's like half the entertainment business right there.
Yeah, like everybody who was
Why not just get everybody else too?
like everybody who was in their like late 30s to early 40s is gonna be just lit for this halftime show. So basically everyone my age is gonna be watching this and just digging it because damn.
Yeah. That is in fact the appropriate response.
But anyway, well we're gonna stop now because it's late and I'm sure Brian is about to doze off.
I'm doing okay, but the minute we're done, I'm gonna be like, yeah, and out.
So yeah, thank you all so very much for joining us. Those of you that are here live or watching later or listening later. Don't forget, the show goes up on the YouTube channel. So if you want to have the visual to go with the audio, you can see it there. And yeah, same time. It goes up the same time the show goes public. So on, in theory, Monday, but here lately Tuesday morning. Because bad at this game. Oh yeah, somebody, Chifuji, was it you? Somebody predicted that the Tupac hologram is going to show up at the halftime show. And I was like, I mean, at this point, I could totally see that. But anyway, yeah. So this has been episode 642 of the Mana Pool. Thank you all so very much for listening, and go Shintai. Oh wait, no. Let's do that again. Thank you all so very much for joining us, and I'll form the head